Everybody, this is a quick demo of how you can use Rezolve AI to automate complex multi-step tasks such as onboarding an employee. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Let's say I'm a manager. I'm going to go ahead and type in, I need to onboard an employee. And we're going to go ahead and fire that off in natural language. And what's going to happen here is our bot's going to interpret our request, and it's going to take a look at our knowledge base to see if we have any matching tasks that it can help out with, right? So it'll look for knowledge, it'll look for automations, or it'll look for service requests found in our service catalog. In this case, it did find a matching service request in our service catalog, and so we can see it's saying, sure, let me help you with that, and it's going to ask for some information on the employee. So we're going to go ahead and onboard Bob Dylan here, and he's going to be in IT. Let's give him a resolve.dev domain. We'll select IT. He's going to be based in New York. Why not? We're going to make him a software engineer, and he's going to be a full-time employee starting today with this manager. And let's get him a MacBook Pro for his hardware, right? So we're entering a bunch of pretty basic details here about what we need. We'll hit next, and we get a little bit more information here. So it looks like we get to choose the email address. I'm going to go with this first dot last name pattern. I like that email address, but we have plenty of other pattern options if we wanted to. That's fully configurable. If you prefer to enforce just one pattern, you can. We're going to move to the next. And here we get to decide if we want to assign any licenses. So I'm going to click on this, and we can see that we have a bunch of Power Automate free licenses. So I'm going to select this, but this could be anything, right? Whatever software it is that you want your employee to have access to, we can add it to that list here. And we can also see that because I selected IT, because Bob's in the IT department, we actually have a recommended Azure AD group to assign him to. So we have this test site one here, but I could also select that and select any other group that I want to add him to. Let's go ahead and go with that recommendation and submit. And we get a full review of everything we've done. So let's confirm and create this ticket. And now our automation is going to run in the background, and we're going to get a few different confirmations here. So from the top, we can see that Bob Dylan was successfully created. We have that nice email address. We get our temporary password and a little reminder that this password's only good for one use. Below that, we get a few extra checks. So we can see that the account was actually successfully created in our HRIS system. So in this case, we're integrating with BambooHR, but it could be any other HRIS like Workday or something else. We can also see that the license was successfully assigned and that he was successfully added to that recommended group. So that's great. All of that was done in just a couple of clicks, and we're good to go. Below that, we can see that we got our ticket number to log the onboarding event. So let's take a look at that a little bit closer. We're going to jump into our HRIS system first. So let's make sure that he got created successfully. Let's search for Bob. And there he is, Bob Dylan. Let's pull up his profile, and we can see, all right, that's the email address we had created. Software engineer, IT, full-time, perfect, looks good. So let's make sure that the license was assigned correctly as well. So we're going to search for Bob. Here he is. User was successfully created in Entra. We've got the recommended group right here. And we've got the license that we wanted to assign. So awesome. All of that was done automatically. And now we can look at the ticket that we created. So let's go ahead and refresh this and take a look at our ticket. All right, we've got our onboarding request right here. And we can see that that is in a awaiting user provisioning status for now. We've got our subject here, onboarding Bob Dylan, description, as well as all of the information that we submitted throughout the request. But more importantly, if we looked at linked tickets, we can actually see that we have 4 child tickets automatically created all at the same time. So let's start going through these. First, we've got our new employee badge request. So this would be sent out to facilities so that they can go ahead and create a ticket for him. Create a badge for him. So let's go ahead and pretend that we did that and mark that as complete. All right, and we can move on back. Next here, we've got our software request. So in this case, this was actually created just to log the event because the license was already assigned. So you can see that the status of this automatically moved itself to done to suggest that the status was that the license was assigned. If the automation failed for whatever reason, this could fall back to a review saying that it needs additional review from a human agent. But in this case, it was successful, as it should be. So we're good to go and no work needs to be done here. Let's take a look at this employee orientation request. And we can see that we have this nice description automatically created saying, hey, please contact Bob Dylan and schedule that orientation with him. And we've got all this information there. And if we go back to our last ticket, we can see that we have our hardware request. So this is for the laptop that we requested. It's in pending approval status, and we got a bunch of information on that laptop. So let's go through a few more steps here. We can go over to this orientation, and let's pretend that we did that and mark it as done. And then we'll go over to hardware. And let's say I'm the manager, I'm going to go ahead and approve this by moving it to pending order submission. So now our procurement team can pick up this request and they can submit this order with the vendor to order this MacBook Pro. Let's say that they submitted that, they have an order number, and so now they are marking it as pending shipment, and it should be shipping any day now. And we're going to go ahead and enter the order number that we received from the vendor, as one would. We'll save that. And now we're waiting for that order to ship. Once the procurement team gets confirmation that it was shipped, they can go ahead and mark that here and say, all right, we have the tracking number that it shipped. So we're going to enter something in there, save. And now we've stored that tracking number, and it's pending configuration from our facilities team once that device arrives. So now that the device has arrived in our warehouse, the team is going to check that device into the system and make sure it's fully configured and ready for Bob to take over. So now it's asking for the serial number of the device that arrived. So we're going to go ahead and type in some serial number here saying, all right, we have the MacBook Pro. So we're going to save that. And what's going to happen here is this ticket is going to move to a completed status, and we're actually going to have two more automations that are going to run. So the first one is if we go back to that master ticket here, that onboarding ticket that we created initially, we will see that now that every single one of these child tickets has been completed, the status automatically moves itself to a done status, right? And so no additional work is needed. We know that everything was completed, so we can go ahead and move that closed and move on. The other thing is that now that the hardware request was completed, if I check my asset management software, I can go over to all assets and we will see right here at the top is a new entry for this MacBook Pro already checked out to Bob Dylan with the information from the order. So we can see that we have the serial number that I entered directly in there. It's assigned to Bob, and we have the date that the asset was created and last updated. So now this record exists. We know it's assigned to him, and we didn't have to do anything, right? And within the span of a few minutes, we created a user, added him to a group, assigned a license, added him to the HRIS, ordered him a device, and then as soon as the device was arrived and checked in, automatically assigned to him, all in one go. So that's how you can use Rezolve AI to automate complex tasks.